Well, after a long search, I finally found something I was looking for. Ever since I bought the 1445 in 2016, when we moved into the current place, I have wanted to try a rear discharge deck, and that's what we have. Found a 72-inch Fastback deck for the 1445. Now, this particular deck is a model year 2016, according to the tag over here. So you see a manufacturing date right there. So purchased it. A friend actually found it for me, and then I went and picked it up the other day along with some other stuff that'll be in another video. And here it is. The only problem is this deck is only 4 years old, but it is hashed out. Now, I have already cleaned it because when I pulled the plastic cover off, it was literally full from top to the, even with the plastic cover, of dust, dirt, debris, mouse nests, you name it, it was in there. And then also looking at the gearbox here, it looks like somebody's been into the gearbox, because normally there's a black and this is a different color. So but this deck is absolutely hashed out. It's missing half of the drive shaft, and from what I'm finding out, this drive shaft is actually specific to the Fastback decks at $836 for a whole drive shaft, or $328 for the other half that I need. So I'm probably going to have to buy another half of a drive shaft. Now, what's really funny is I actually have a spare drive shaft for the 72-inch rear discharge deck. Haven't even attempted to hook it up yet because I don't have a drive shaft for it. Other things, somebody did not grease this. We'll actually go over to the other side. I'll show you that. Somebody did not grease this thing, and however many hours it has on it. So these are the caster wheels. These caster wheels, if you go look at my kind of refurb of the other 72-inch decks that I've had, you know that these caster arms here have these bushings in them. They look like this right here. These bushings are very cheap. They're less than $10 a piece, and you can replace them. I replace mine about every year and a half or so. And basically these were not greased at all. If you want to see evidence of that, look at the amount of wear that's on that. Oftentimes I get the question of, you know, what do you need to look for when you go buy a front mount unit? This is one of the things you need to look for. That caster right there is $236 brand new. Now, I'm going to use it as is for a little while, and I might be able to play with the height of the deck, because right now it is set with just 3 rings, so it's only 3 inches. Where's the, oh, here it is. So 3 rings right here, it's at 2.5 inches, so it's cutting pretty close. So normally I cut up around 4, so I need to have 6 rings down there in the bottom. I think I normally cut at 4. I have to look at the 1445 and see where I have the side discharge deck. So I might be able to get around that just by sheer luck of where I cut my grass at. I need to get in here, and all this rust on the pulley and everything I've got to get off. You can see all that rust in there. You know, I just need to give it a good once over. I'm going to go ahead and loosen up the deck belt, get the drive shaft off. Looks like this gearbox is leaking. I don't think I'm necessarily going to pay too much attention to that right now. I think I'm more concerned with just getting everything working, and then if I hate it, I can get rid of it, and if I love it, I'll keep it. Because I've never used a rear discharge deck before, and one of the problems we have with our current place is, you know, if we get a little behind with rain or something for the yard, side discharging as much grass as we have on it with a 72-inch deck, that just creates a lot of clippings in one location. And I can lift the chute up, and that will distribute the grass clippings a little bit more, but still it can be a little bit of a pain. So I'm going to loosen up this tension mechanism right here. Basically, I'll have to look at the instructions, but to see where the tension actually needs to be. But I'm going to loosen this up. That way I can, I'm assuming, much like the side discharge deck, loosen the tension spring up, and then I need to loosen this up right here, which will let that idler pulley loosen out, and then I can take the belt off. Once I take the belt off, I guess I need to take this whole plate off, and so I'll take this plate off and we'll drain the oil and everything in the gearbox and go from there. So I'm gonna get to work on that. This might be an actually short video, and we'll go from there. So those are pretty easy steps. It's gonna take me 30 seconds to do. Well, I didn't get anything that I said I was going to do in the previous part of the video done because I got distracted with some other projects. So it's about 4 days later. This deck is still sitting here. However, I did get a chance to put an order in for parts. So what I ended up getting, chase down my shop tow. What I did end up getting is I got the other half of the drive shaft, which I'll show you in a minute. It's in that box right there. And then I got the 4 bushings for the deck, which I'm gonna probably have to drive those out. One fell out, and I mean these caster wheels. So here's the old bushing. I mean, it's basically just flat worn out. And these caster wheels, hopefully, I mean, if you can see that indentation right there, and then the indentation up here. I mean, those, hopefully, with the way I'm going to put these caster wheels back in there, it's actually okay to have like that. Here are the bushings, part number EPC028556. Because this deck is made in the Netherlands, right here, made in the Netherlands, I'm assuming all the parts are made in the Netherlands, and so the parts are actually decently expensive. So this half of the drive shaft right here, EPC 204055, was $328 by itself. All total, I think with the emergency shipping, because I wanted it before July 4th, I think all total this parts order was right at $390. Like I said, some of that was the shipping for it, because I didn't want to wait until after the July 4th holiday, because I actually have some time. But let's see what our drive shaft looks like here. Picked it up at the dealer today. Seems overly simple for a part that expensive, but yeah. Hey, this one's made in the USA, this drive shaft. So basically spline drive shaft. The big reason, and I'll actually go get the other drive shaft here in just a second. I'm gonna need to grease all this and everything, but the regular drive shaft on the 72-inch side discharge deck is too short for this deck. In fact, let me go get the extra drive shaft I have, and I'll put these two together, and we'll show you the length difference. All right, so we're still working on this rear discharge deck, the 72 Fastback deck. I said in the previous part of the video that I would show you the difference in the drive shaft. So here's the 1445 deck drive shaft for the 72-inch side discharge deck, and there is the Fastback deck drive shaft. That is because the gearbox is so much farther forward on this rear discharge deck as compared to the side discharge deck, which is on the machine here. So we actually did give, and you see how the deck gearbox is located. We did give this rear discharge deck a try yesterday. Somewhat disappointing in performance so far, and I think a lot of it has to do with adjustments on the deck. We cannot get it set. We cannot get it to set level, mostly because we're running out of adjustment, and because the 1445 is about an inch lower than the newer series terrain cut mowers. So it does fit and it does turn the deck and everything, but I think overall the adjustments on the deck are just not very good. So if we go out here and look at where we cut, we have 3, and I don't know if this will even pick up in a video or not. So we cut 3 areas. We've got this one right here, in which case it looks terrible. I mean, you can see, you know, it's scalped in places, stuff like that. This is when the deck was set, the rear of the deck was set, there was almost an inch, it was almost an inch off. I think the front of the deck was higher than the rear. So then by the time we got it level, we were up here, which this grass doesn't even really look like it's been mowed, but it has been. And then the next time we tried it out, we ended up with this, which looks a little bit better, and it was almost level, but still not. I mean, still just a lot of grass everywhere. So I think we've got some adjustments that we still need to do on this rear discharge deck. I'm going to keep plugging away at it. I'm not going to write it off yet, but the side discharge is going to go back on the 1445 for now, so we can get some mowing done, and I'll come back and visit this deck later. So the deck gearbox, I need to change the oil. I checked it the other day and it was pretty full. In fact, that's what caused all of the oil spotting on top of the deck. So I got to clean the deck again. One concerning thing I did see is there's this crack here. I got to fix that. It doesn't look like it's too bad, but I'll have to, when I pull the gear case off and everything, I'll just weld that back up. I just don't think that'll be too bad. It doesn't necessarily, it looks like it's a stiffener brace, but I don't necessarily think it's critical to the deck at the moment. So I don't think I'm not too worried about it. So yeah, that's the deck. That's I think that's where I'm going to stop. I mean, sorry I didn't get in videos of me actually mowing with it. Friend and I were working on it. We were kind of in a hurry because we were doing some other projects around the house. So that's where we're at with the rear discharge deck. I'll come back and update it when I can. Thanks for watching.